Sand versus Sun here in round two. We have Charpy with Tyranitar Garchomp against Riley with Typhlosion Jumpluff. And here with me, I have none other than Riley, fresh off his victory from round one. Riley, what would you like to highlight about this matchup? What mons do you think are going to be super important here?
Well, thank you once again for having me. Chirpy, his team this was probably one of the teams I was the most scared to fight against. It's got the Serene Grace Garchomp that if left unchecked can just punch a hole in my entire team. And so my going into this is like I need a way to deal with that Garchomp as fast as possible.
Mhm.
And although he does have the weather, I do have some ways to handle the weather. So the sun wasn't, or the sandstorm wasn't the thing I was truly worried about,
Yeah,
but it
having
was
manual
the
sunny day on
mon
Jumpluff,
itself.
we were talking about it a bit offline, is so
Oh yeah,
key for these weather wars on your team. I think it just always puts you in an advantage in that regard. Ooh, and we are going to
Sharpie
see
leads with
Jumpluff Typhlosion here on your end against Garchomp and Heatran. Very, very threatening on the opponent's side. All right, so what are your thoughts here, seeing Garchomp and Heatran here, knowing that, of course, Tyranitar is going to be in the back?
well as if the viewers remember from the match between Sharpie and Brit, if there's a rock slide, there's a way, and that move is not 100% accurate. So if there is some way that I can get around one or both of my mons taking a rock slide and avoiding the flinch, that's the first thing. I do have the Focus Sash on the Jumpluff if needed, but my Typhlosion here is in not a great position.
Yeah,
Now,
Typhlosion, because ooh, so Jumpluff
Granted they
does get to go first though because of Chlorophyll. Even if Tyranitar had switched in, because of how speed works in Generation 4, there's no dynamic speed. Jumpluff still would have gone first,
yeah,
and
I
that
truly
is a
was like, I
huge, huge
just need to
turn.
hit
Oh
the
my gosh,
eruption,
Heatran is down! That's
and
a
this
Levitate
was
Heatran, not Flash Fire.
yeah, that Heatran is that takes neutral damage from eruption. It's not resisted. So, and I had looked up. I was like, okay, do I think this eruption in the sun is enough to deal damage? And in fact it is. It does
Dang.
actually take care of it. Now, if it had a little bit more bulk here there, it could have been a roll, but getting that KO onto the Heatran was a very important thing because Heatran, if left unchecked, is very good, as we
Yeah,
all remember in
especially
Generation
in the
4.
sun. Yeah, no, it
Oh
can.
yeah.
It can do a whole lot. That was a very confident play. I feel like turn one, just like okay, I'm
Oh
gonna put
yeah.
to sleep the one thing faster than Typhlosion. I'm gonna trust Typhlosion to do the rest because
Yeah.
I would not have been that
It's
confident. Oh, Garchomp wakes up and goes for choice scarf. Sleep talk here. Oh no, Jumpluff gets the sunny day set up. Oh my gosh. No, this Typhlosion is just absolutely going ham here. Really, really unfortunate from the Garchomp's perspective, because that could have been anywhere from a 1 to 4 turn sleep. Um, but no, it does not quite work out for Charpy there. And what happens with this rock slide here? Jumpluff avoids it. I mean, this can do a lot to
oh
Typhlosion,
yeah.
though. That's a
And it is
stab
super
rock
effective
slide.
damage,
Oh my god,
but
I mean, you
it
do
does not
live.
pick up.
You do live. So Eruption's not going to do a lot here, but that does mean that Typhlosion can, if it wants to, leave and then come back later in the game and throw off big, I forget what moves you have, overheats and heat waves, I
Yeah.
believe. And yeah, no, I mean, Typhlosion's done its job, right? It's just
Oh yeah.
broken
It's
a hole
blown a
through
hole.
2.5
Yeah.
Mons, and yeah, things are not looking fantastic for Charpy here. Sleep Talk, a really interesting tech on Garchomp, but it's very
Yeah.
difficult to click turn one because you don't know what the jump left's going to do, and you don't want to
Yeah.
be locked into Sleep Talk while still being awake. And then, yeah, but the next turn you would really have been hoping to land something there with it. Even if it
Oh
had
yeah.
hit, you still would have already made some really good progress.
Oh
But
yeah.
that was definitely a big break there.
Yeah. At this point, what's going through my head is just if I can just keep Typhlosion in the back to come in later, yeah, I don't have the guaranteed damage that Eruption has, and I have to play the accuracy game with something like Heatwave, which notably in VGC is not always reliable, but I'm like, I just need to keep it around just for a little bit longer. And I decide to switch out to the Clefable.
Yeah, I mean, because I think your team's really interesting because it's got a lot of pieces that are like entirely support based, right? Like I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
Clefable's got Weather Ball, which I think still packs a decent punch. But Jumpluff is definitely a support mon. Clefable's mostly a support mon, and then you have these other mons that are just huge, huge damage dealers like Explosion, Dragon Dance, Salamence,
Oh,
and
yeah.
Typhlosion. Honestly, I think that's great positioning for you there. You set up
Yeah.
the Tailwind, Jumpluff goes down, no need to risk his Sleep Powder.
Yeah.
Clefable's on the field now, and then I think I have an idea of what might be coming out here.
Yeah. We see the
Or
Salamence in
well,
the
I mean,
back.
Salamence and Typhlosion, those are both really, really strong options here.
And I do still have another turn of Tailwind.
Tailwind is still up. So, yeah, I mean, Typhlosion will go down to a fire move. We've kind of seen that. Latias is pretty specially bulky and can live that. So, presumably, that is kind of the biggest threat left on the board.
Yeah, that
However, if you kill the
Latias,
Tyranitar, then Latias only has single target moves and can only do kind of so much, you would think.
and here I decide I was like, okay, I could go for Outrage and potentially lock myself in. If I go for Earthquake, Latias can live it, but I need something to just like again blow a hole in the team. And so I decide to make the really risky play and just go for a
Yeah. No, I mean,
huge
you just said I don't think you're gonna
explosion.
protect with Latias because if you protect with Latias, you're just letting me get a free KO, and then you have to deal with a 1v1. So I think while
Yeah,
Tyranitar is alive, you're not gonna protect. I mean, honestly, I think the kill onto the Latias is kind of the big thing here.
yeah,
And yeah, if you outrage, that wouldn't have guaranteed it that turn, and they could have potentially stalled out the Tailwind. So yeah,
yeah.
I think there's a logic to it. It's a bold play. It definitely can go wrong, but it's the exciting play, and we get to see the drafted move Explosion break
If you
through the rest of
give
the team.
the fun thing with big offensive moves is if you give something enough modifiers, defense is irrelevant. If
Yeah,
you
no, I
give
mean,
a adamant 252 plus attack
Life
Salamence
Orb,
holding a life orb
Salamence, yeah.
plus a helping hand boost, there is almost nothing that's not a ghost type that can survive that.
I do wonder if that. I mean, Eruption Typhlosion, that's a strong move. I do wonder if Explosion Salamence could have one shot that Tyranitar with Helping Hand. I do kind of wonder what those calcs would be, because I imagine it's doing a huge, huge chunk.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for talking us through this battle, Riley. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me once again.
Hello, hello. Welcome back to the Dubious Diamond Invitational. It's been a little while, but we are back, and I'm gonna try and get the rest of the regular season released, and then the playoffs released here soon as well, just as soon as possible. I'm here with my good friend Charpy. Uh,
Hey everyone.
Sharpie, who not super long ago day 2 got top 32 at where were we? Louisville.
Louisville.
Very very good VGC player is in this tournament. We are not watching a Chirpy game right now though. We are watching Britt and Andrew here with some two very interesting teams. What do you think are some key things in this matchup here, Chirpy?
I think I'm waiting to see how Brit manages that Deoxys there.
Oh yeah.
I think it's gonna be a huge thread on Andrew's side.
Yeah, and it's like
Yeah.
Andrew's got like the double follow me users, and often that's to like support some sort of setup or something.
Yeah.
But just with the power level the way it is and Life Orb attack Deoxys, there's no setup needed.
Yeah.
It's
Which
just
is the
already there from
opposite
turn one.
to Brits, right? Like you will see now, speaking of mythicals, Manaphy. which I think is the big threat on.
Oh yeah, because
Brit's
not only does it get tail glow, it's also gonna have simple tail glow, which is gonna be, I think in this gen it's a little bit less than later gens what that combination would be. Tail glow's only +2 in this gen, which we didn't know about till after the draft, truth be told. So it's gonna get him to like ×3 special attack really quickly, which is still incredible. But yeah, that's gonna be the main focus here. So Manaphy goes for Protect here. That's actually pretty interesting how that started. And Fake Out is going into the Togekiss, which did not Protect.
Did it have Protect? I didn't notice.
You know what? We have open team sheets, and I should know. However, we are in San Antonio right now, just after a regional. Okay, yes.
So it did.
Yeah, it did have Protect. It did have Protect. So I just don't have those sheets in
Correct
front
me
of
if I'm wrong, but I think in Gen 4 also Fake Out just had a +1.
Yeah, so
right, priority.
Britain could have follow Mead and yeah, E-Speed I think would have gone before the Fake Out if Britain had chosen to go for that. And then Follow Me would have gone before the Fake Out as well. So Brit actually did have options there. This is a bit surprising of a play, considering I think we've already seen kind of the Follow Me react like different things earlier in the tournament. So Togekiss goes for Follow Me here. I mean, Weavile's going to do a ton of damage to this thing. You imagine.
Yeah.
And oh no, it's just going for Taunt. I mean, that makes a lot of sense as well, I think. But this is going to give... Okay, Manaphy just went for the offense here. I think this is Focus Sash Weavile, if I'm not mistaken, and this would probably KO the Deoxys regardless. So I think this actually does make a good deal of sense. That did not do as much to the Weavile as Britain would have liked, though.
Yeah, I'm sure like it just needs to set up. We don't have the spreads right here for like how Brit trained his Manaphy, so it could be that due to like simple tail glow, he opted out from putting much into special attack. Could have been the case.
Yeah, it's probably what I would have done if I was building it, just because I think he's got some reliable ways to get that up. But yeah, I think Andrew, seeing that he's not going for Tail Glow, is like, okay, I'm going to bring my bulkier Mons in. I know it's maybe not the priority to stop the Tail Glow here with my more proactive pieces. Okay, yeah, and both players kind of playing the repositioning game, playing a little bit defensively.
No, and I mean the switch to Metagross, I think it's like fantastic because I think Gen 4 Steel resists Dark, right?
Yeah.
So like, yeah, this Metagross can just freely start going for whatever it feels. I mean, it doesn't have much that the Bullet Punch I guess can quickly take out the Weavile, but apart from that, I don't know if I'd want to like Explosion or Earthquake.
Oh, and this is Choice Banded, so Britain's got to make a choice here as well. It says, get in the bag, Manaphy. Oh, but Pursuit! That's going to do a good chunk.
Man, I missed that.
I was like, why isn't the Manaphy heading out? I thought it might do a little bit more. But since this Weavile's Technician, Pursuit, regardless of if Manaphy switched out, was going to do a decent amount of damage, maybe not like too much. So it was like Andrew really had guaranteed damage on the board there, kind of regardless. And Thunderbolt coming into the Gengar. Actually, if those... Ooh, that's a very, very big paralysis. Oh, and he just went for the Explosion. I think that's going to knock... That's got to knock them both out, right?
And I stand corrected. That's what you can do instead of bullet punching.
Pretty big. That's a pretty bold play right there. Wow.
The paralysis though, it has to not that a Deoxys cares really much about speed on the opposing side, but being that it's Gen 4, it's a quarter of the speed now, not just half.
Yeah, and it's like you could like if there's a chance the Gengar can move maybe one turn if it does find an opening, it could get fully paralyzed as well, which can be the tough thing. So yeah, this is a... So we know that Andrew has got Deoxys. Okay, so we can see right here, yep, Staraptor in the back as well. So Britain's still got 3 Mons. I would say the overall health of all the Mons is probably even, just percentage-wise. So this is gonna be an interesting endgame. Yeah, this Deoxys is gonna be difficult to deal with, and this Staraptor is gonna do a lot of damage as well.
What's the item on Deoxys?
A Life Orb.
I'm wondering if it can take an E-speed to the face.
I mean, part of me thinks that's why Britain has E-speed on this team, right?
Yeah.
To specifically deal with this Deoxys. And so that might be what Britain kind of calculated for as well. So Gengar has got compound eyes, which is really interesting. And so it can't really hit the Staraptor. It can hit the Deoxys, but it could try and status the Staraptor as well. So this is an interesting situation. Because,
Ooh,
yeah,
extreme speed as well.
I feel like we've got some mind game going on here. So Deoxys goes for Protect here. Did Britain target into it? Gengar goes for Protect as well. That is an interesting play. I guess it was that to stop an attack from the Deoxys, perhaps?
That's what I was thinking, right? Like,
E-Speed does not quite kill the Togekiss. And what did the Togekiss go for? Oh,
into the
into the Deoxys. Oh no!
I wanna say Andrew's got it on.
Yeah, no, that was a huge turn for Andrew. Because, yeah, if Togekiss had protected, then it could get the E-Speed off this next turn. But I think the big thing is, since that Staraptor is faster, then now Andrew all of a sudden is threatening a knockout on both slots, which is really, really big.
And this is good info for the subsequent names. Games. I'm waiting to see how Brit is gonna adapt, knowing now that like he has a slower E-Speed, and it's just so much damage.
Yeah, I mean, there was still Britain was still in that game very late. It's like there was still, I think, a lot of options he has for this matchup, and you also think it's like I feel like Manaphy had the option to go for Tail Glow, right? If turn one there was like a follow me Tail Glow, I don't think Andrew really covered for that incredibly well. That could have been a really, really punishing move there. Although I don't know. I mean, because I would think Togekiss lives the Psycho Boost. I might be wrong, but I would think so, right?
It has a decent amount of HP. I'm not familiar with its.
I think it's got pretty good special defense. But yeah, Manaphy's just not gonna. Manaphy's not gonna handle this 2v1 here.
No.
That was a really interesting matchup. I think Staraptor just ended up being the exact correct Mon for Andrew to have in the back. Yeah. It's like I think Britain definitely caught him off guard, put him on the back foot a little bit. But Staraptor was just fantastic in that situation, and I think Britain just didn't read the play that Andrew was going to go for there. Because if Gengar had maybe gone for Hypnosis as well, yeah, it could have been a little bit different. But I understand wanting to play passively in front of just the huge threats on Andrew's side and trying to see what he locks into as well. All right, yeah, that was a fantastic game.